All right, so this will be the last video you see me do of this product, and I am not keeping it, and I'll tell you why. I'm very picky on what I want and need. Well, that's the number one reason. Sorry, I have a sore throat this morning, so I'm doing the best I can. But just wanted to do this last video before I return it and say that this is a great keyboard if you are interested in sound design. In other words, if you're going to take what the initial patch in here and you can work from scratch and build your own sounds, this guy is great. And very much like the ASM Hydrosynth, in the sense, not the same, but I mean in the sense of they're both great keyboards if you are going to sound design. Now, I do like a little sound design, but not enough to where I would use this all the time. And this thing has, I'm guessing, maybe 50 presets, something like that in it. 50 presets at the most. And that's not enough to move me. Like, I will say the Hydrosynth had more presets in it out the gate. So I felt like I wasn't as bored right up front, especially if you're not a sound designer. If you're a sound designer, this does not apply to you because you know how to take a board and make stuff sound really good. And I'm just not that guy, right? Now, I can do it a little bit, but I find myself enjoying it more like in an Ableton or something like that, doing it there, just in the DAW and not having to do it here. So that's one thing. The next reason why I won't is because I don't want to have to plug this thing in. One thing about the Hydrosynth is it did have batteries that you could use. You could use AA batteries and power it, which, to be honest, I didn't do often. But it was worth having that feature because I don't want to be tethered to a power cable all the time. I personally just don't want it that badly. You know what I'm saying? What else? The sound out of it is pretty good, but you are using digital effects. I'm not a big fan of all the digital effects. Some of them are good. Some of them are, meh. The analog filter is kind of cool. But I can be honest that I have better plugins that can do all of this. And I know how to use the LFOs in Ableton much better than I do in here. The button mashing is just something I would have to learn. It's not impossible to do. It's just I have to learn. The other thing is, I will say this Hydrosynth was easier to access your different filters, like not filters, but what was it? Like the presets, like keys versus the bass versus that's what I'm trying to say. And here they just let you filter through it, but you have to hit shift and then turn the filter till you get to the preset you want, then click it in. And the Hydrosynth, it was more like you can put them in order, like in your A brackets, B brackets, or you could put them, you just set them in the order and they would stay in that order, right? And you could go through them. Anywho, different keyboards, doesn't really matter. I do think the sound in here is very nice. I do think this keyboard touch strips are nice. I think the keys are nice. I'm really only in need of a MIDI controller, I think. And I do not like that I can't use the transport bar, which is actually right here. Use the transport bar to control my Ableton. That part kind of annoys me. I want to be able to do that without having to touch the computer as much. And I don't mind touching the computer because I can build the whole song without a keyboard. But it's just nice that you have at least the transport bar working with the keys and the touch strips, or if you have wheels. I am more preference of wheels, even though these touch strips are the best touch strips I've ever used. So I will say that they deserve that credit. The analog filters are pretty good, even though you only have a low pass, band pass, high pass. They still really work really well. And a couple other features like the random dice feature. The gates in here are cool. Didn't really use the macros much. I watched a video on how to use it, and I was like, it's cool, but didn't really want to use it that much. I think it wasn't the reason I got the board. I thought I got the board more for a MIDI controller, but I was just gonna say if I get it the price close enough, to what a lot of these MIDI controllers, like, so a MIDI controller, a decent one, $200 maybe, something like that. And then if you can get this around maybe like a $399 price or even a $300 price, if you can find something used, then you're close enough to the MIDI controller where it might justify that $100 or $200. So that was my aim. I didn't meet that aim, but I still wanted to try the board to see what it was like. And it's really cool. It is a cool board. It's just not what I want to do. I don't want to sound design on this particular board or even the ASM Hydrosynth. As much as I like it, I think I use the random feature on that thing so much that I would just be like, all right, I just want some random quirky sound to put as a textural background. And I would probably use that more than anything else because it was an FM synth. And a lot of times with the FM synths or whatever, I'm just really not a huge synth person. I enjoy the granular synth. I enjoy a synth as maybe a lead every now and then, or I'll use a synth for some quirky sounds, like textural stuff type things. That's my favorite type of synths, right? Everything that you can't do, that a piano would, or a Rhodes or something like that wouldn't sound good on. Or that I can't really do, I should say. I would grab a synth for that. And then otherwise I would never touch a synth. I'm not a synth bass type guy. Unless it's Moog or something like that. I like their sounds on their bass where you can get funky with it if you want. But in general, I would never use FM bass too much on a track. It's a rare occasion you catch me doing that. So, because I mostly use Trillion, if you know that. But just because I like the upright bass, I like natural sounds more. So this board is not the one if you want natural sounds. Okay, it's just not. It does not have a granular effect in it. There are different types of delays and different types, which I think is cool. Different types of reverbs in here, but there is no granular effects, and that is a huge thing with me. And see, all this stuff that I'm talking about is all in Ableton. I have all the plugins I need to just use it in Ableton, so it doesn't make any sense for me personally. Now, for you, if you're not in the DAW type thing and you just want to do like you're doing like a DAW-less setup, this board is fabulous for that, okay? It'll work, and it'll give you the sense that you need. However, there are things that are better out there that you could get a little more all-in-one, where you get some natural stuff and some synth stuff. But when it comes to like designing your sounds, this and the ASM, to me, for the price that they come in at, are probably two of the best that are out there on the market, in my opinion. So anyway, I'll leave you with this video. Didn't want to take a long time. I can go on and on about little things I like, little things I don't like. I talked about in a previous video. I still don't think it's great that they have the metronome going while you're playing a sequence. That's a firmware fix they can do. The other thing I don't like is if I set up a sequence and I play something in, I have to leave it on that particular preset. I can't switch to a new preset and layer something over the top of it. It has to be the same preset. So in my opinion, that's kind of lame, because if I change anything in here, it's going to automatically change the sound that's on the step sequencer. So that defeats the purpose for me personally. All right, this video is about 9 minutes. I'm going to try to keep it there. Sorry, my stomach's growling. I need to eat, and I have a sore throat too. Yeah, I want to leave it at that and just say that the board is really good. It's not a bad board by any means. It's just not what I'm looking for. Okay, I will continue to do reviews on things. My reviews are subject, obviously, to what I feel personally. Does not mean you have to do it that way or believe it or whatever. If you like it, there's nothing wrong with you liking something I don't like, or something, or vice versa, me liking something you don't like. So you don't have to say in the comment section that, you know, this board is better than what you, it's just because you don't know how to use. I know I don't. I'm telling you now, I'm not a sound designer, so it's not, it's just not for me, and that's okay. So that's why you try stuff out. That's why they give you a return day policy, to try things out. All right, we're at 10 minutes. I'm done. I'm out. Until the next one.